you've just been scrolling away, watching videos. Now it's time to get your butt up and let's get some math done. Let's just get it done. No excuses, no complaints. I'm not good at math. I'm terrible at math. You're not terrible at math. You know why? It's how it was presented to you at a younger age. And then all of a sudden, you're just like, I can't get it. All my friends seem to get it. I must be stupid. No. Sometimes people just need extra time to break concepts down. Sometimes people just need someone to feel safe when you're learning something new. I don't know what your situation was when you were younger, but when I was younger and it was time for me to learn, I don't know, fractions, which I was like, why are we doing this? It was never like, hey, there's an ease, or we had the good little pictures and we actually had some exhibits to explain math. No, we didn't have that. It was like this, boom, do this, memorize that, and here's the test. Regurgitate it back to me. And now, you're just like, I stayed far away from this math as much as possible. But now, guess what? You're asked to give in a test. You're asked to take some kind of test. Maybe you want to be a teacher, so you have to take the praxis. Maybe you're just like, you know what? I saw my nieces and nephews and grandkids graduate like a month ago. And now I'm like, you know what? I wish that was me. Maybe you need to go into the military and you have taken the practical exam over and over and over again, and you keep getting the same results. Some person might have actually taken it and gotten a 0 because you haven't seen the math in so long. You can't just memorize the packet and all of a sudden you're thinking it's going to be the exact same questions. It's never the exact same questions. So you're basically taking knowledge that you had many moons ago, and now you're trying to apply it to a current test, which probably has been rearranged multiple times because they have a whole bank, and every test is usually a sprinkling of different questions. So what I do here, especially those that haven't been in school for a long time, I'm here to help you. That's what it is. I'm not here to bring your mind to bends. I'm not here to basically just like, hey, let me go with the Audrey show. I'm here to basically break down concepts, get your brain stimulated, hopefully change your mindset because you can do math. It's just because you just need extra time to break concepts down. All right? So, if you are not 25 plus and you're just like, you know what? I don't really need this. This is not the math for you. This is not the time. If you're like, I know this math. It is really easy. It's really fast. This is not the time for you. I greatly appreciate you stopping in. But if you want someone to break things down step by step, show you how I can do things, this is the live for you. All right. So, enough chit chat. Let's get to it. So, today we're going to be working on a little bit of the geometry. Yes, the geometry. So, this page actually came directly out of my ASVAT math practice. And what we're going to do is we're going to be working on a couple phases of geometry questions that you actually will see on the exam. So for this one, it's very straightforward. So it says a right triangle has a hypotenuse of 17 and a leg of 8. What is the area of the triangle? Now, like I always say with word problems, always go with the question, because the question is going to give you the directive. Because I know when I read this question, when I first saw right triangle and hypotenuse, some people, if you understand some of the math concepts, will go immediately, and I mean immediately, to Pythagorean theorem. And you're going to get aside and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's my answer. Boom, I'm done. But you always want to go back to the question. Okay? So, first off, let's talk about terminology. Hypotenuse. Okay? So, hypotenuse. Okay, so when I see a right triangle, and you can design it any which way, and since I know most of us are very visual, here we go. The hypotenuse is always the side directly across from your 90-degree angle. So that is your longest side. All right? Then your leg, the legs are the other two sides. So that's a leg, and that's a leg. Okay? So you have two legs and a hypotenuse. So they're saying one of our legs is 8. Okay, say this one here. And they're saying our hypotenuse, which is our longest side, is 17. And what they want us to do is to find the area of a triangle. So now everything is labeled, but in order for you to find the area, let me lower this down a little bit. The area of a triangle is basically the area of a rectangle, which is your base times your height, okay, divided by 2. Because when you look at formulas, a lot of you guys have the tendency to think that they're just individual stuff. No. Okay, rectangle, you can use length times width, you can say base times height. Base times height seems to be more universal than length times width. The reason, because you can use it to take half of it to find the triangle. Now, if there's going to be base times height, they gave us the base. The base is usually the bottom. Okay, they gave us the base, which is 8. But here's the thing. They didn't give us the height. They gave us a hypotenuse, but not the height. So I know for a fact, some people will probably think, oh, it's just 17 times 8, and then I just divide that by 2, and I get an answer of 68. Ah, let's be careful. We need the base times the height. So we will need to do Pythagorean's theorem to find the height. Height is always straight up and down. Okay? Think how tall you are. That's what you did, blank man. I got you. Okay? Because that's a common error. That's a common error, and it's fine. But guess what? We're going to learn from it, right? We're going to tweak. So, well, not that type of tweaking, but you know what I'm saying. All right? So let's solve this. Let's do that Pythagorean theorem. So we have our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the a and the b are my legs. The legs are interchangeable. The c is always going to be whatever your hypotenuse is. So we can actually say, I don't know, a squared plus 8 squared equals 17 squared. All right. You're air tweaking. Okay. So it doesn't matter which one carries the 8. It could be the B or the A. Like I said, the legs are interchangeable. So it's not like, oh my God, which one should I put it? Just put it. Okay. So now we're going to have to get our 8 squared. And 8 squared is not 16. 8 squared means you're doing 8 times 8. So 8 times 8 gives me 64. And 17 squared, I know that looks a little sad. 17 squared, that's our 289. Okay. All right. So, Caribbean Queen, how are you? So, how do I know it's 289? Because it's 17 times 17. Okay. Knowing your perfect squares, trust me, for algebra, especially knowing your perfect squares up to 20 will be ideal. But if you can get it up to at least 14 or 15, really, if you can get up to 15 memorized, that will be awesome for you. All right, so now we want to get a squared by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 64. The reason why I'm subtracting, the original is plus 64. In order for these two to cancel out so I can start isolating my a squared, I'm going to have to do the inverse. Okay? So once I do my inverse, I can subtract and cancel these out, which gives me a 0. But I don't need the 0 as a placeholder because I still have my a squared to bring down. So 289 minus 16. Minus 64. I mean, doing 16 all in my head. That gives us what? You memorized till 50? Awesome. Lovely. Okay. So 289 minus 64. Thank you, Lion. Okay, Allison, careful. There you go, Allison. Good job. All right, so we have our 9 minus 4. That gives us 5. 8 minus 6. That gives us 2. And then we bring the other 2 down. So we have 225. So you're probably like, oh, okay, everything's great. 225, that should be the other leg. No. Now we have a squared. And this is where I might lose some people, but stick with me because you're going to have to face this. So in order for us to get a by itself, I have to do the inverse of a squared. Now the inverse of a squared is a square root. Okay, hear it. The inverse of a square is a square root. In your calculators, sometimes you might see like a little 2 right here, which is not necessary because there's no such thing as a 1 root. Okay, the lowest that you can go with the square roots is a squared root, a square root. So the square and the square root cancels each other out. Okay, and that will leave us with our a. Now, the square root of 225, that's a perfect square root. So what number multiplied by itself will give me 225? That will be 15. Okay, there we go. Right. Thank you, Lorenzo. So, that height of our triangle is going to be 15. So everyone that said 68, I hope you're watching this, okay? Now, in order for you to get your area of a triangle, because that's what we're looking for, you need your base times the height divided by 2. So if you want, you can do this. We have our area. We have our base, which is 8. Now our height, which is 15. The height is not the hypotenuse. Okay, that's why. Divided by 2. So you could multiply 15 and 8 and divide by 2. Or because for the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, the ASVAT and the Accuplacer, you cannot use a calculator. So if you're practicing doing math using a calculator and all of a sudden you go take the test, you're going to be in shock when you're like, that means I can't use my phone? Yes, that means you can't use your phone. So that means you have to go back to the basics of understanding math using paper and pencil. So this is one of the ways I like to do. I like to reduce, then multiply. I noticed that 8 and 2, they can be divided, which will give me 4. So now, all I have to do to find the area is multiply 4 times 15. That's a little more manageable. So I know that 4 times 5 gives me 20, carry the 2, and 4 times 1 is 4 plus the 2 is 6. So your area and your answer is going to be 60A. Okay? So for those that right away, they're like, oh, the answer is 68. The answer is 68. Like, seriously. Here's my thing. Because we are rushing, and I know you have 1 minute to answer a question. Okay? This, I took my time going through it step by step. Alright? So, going through it step by step, yes, it's going to take time. But once you start practicing it, and you have some of the resources and that guidance to guide you through it, you're going to pick up your speed. Because doing it fast doesn't necessarily mean doing it right. And this is what you've probably been doing, and this is why you've been struggling to get past the basic of 31 in the ASVAT. This is probably why we're struggling, and we're trying to work our way to pass the Accuplacer, so we do not have to take intermediate math, pay all that money for a class, and still not get credit for it. Because that's why we need to get you into college algebra. All right? You're so welcome. All right? Well, thank you. All right? So, this is one of the things. Once you get an answer, because I know I didn't put 15 as one of the answers, but this is what happens. Some people will do it. Oh, 15, they see a 15, they mark it. Always, when you solve it, go back to the question. Am I answering the question? All right? So, if you want more practice like these, you can get the link in my bio, go into my stand store, and this is under the ASVAT math practice. Okay? But we got another one. Ready? All right? Miss knowing this. At 43, you young. Thinking that you're old. Stop it. All right. So now for this one. What is the volume of a cone with a radius of 6 and a height of 10? So they want us to use 3.14 for pi. Sometimes they do this. Sometimes they want you to keep the answer in pi. Sometimes they may not even put this here. How do you know if you need to use 3.14 versus using the actual symbol for pi? Look at your answers. Sometimes your answer choices will give you many clues. All right? Again, this was a short word problem, so you could read it. But when they give you those big, huge novels of a word problem, go straight to the question and be a detective. What are they giving me? Okay? Underline. What are they giving me? Highlight if you can write down. What are they giving me? All right? So, when you look at this, how many of you guys are confused about what's the volume of a cone? How many are confused about that? How many are like, I don't remember that? You can write the word me. There we go. I see you, Mel. All right. Yup, Alicia, I see you. Okay. Thank you so much. I see you guys. All right, Banana me, I see you. No clue, got you. Sweet Kelly, I got you. Welcome back. Okay, Big Al, I got you. All right, Millie, I got you. Amelia, got you. All right. So I'm seeing some answers. Well, thank you so much. Ghost New York, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. All right. So when it comes to volume, all right, put your antennas up. Write this down, especially if you're going for the GED. Actually, for GED and ASVAT. Okay, TEAS test, they do have some of these. Now, this is it. For volume, they always use the volume of a rectangular prism, the volume of a cylinder, volume of a cone, and once in a while, if they're feeling freaky, the volume of a cylinder. They harvest so much energy on those four, mostly the first three. All right, so we have rectangular prism, we have cylinder, and we have a cone. Now, if you can remember a cylinder, so if we think about it, cylinder is like just like a can. I think I was Picasso in my previous life. All right, so when you have a cylinder, your bases are circles. But when you're taking a cone, you're taking 1 out of 3. Because you see there's a little cone right here, there's a little cone right here, and there's the basic cone right here. So a cone is 1/3 of the volume of a cylinder. So if you can remember, volume of a cylinder, it gives you your area of the base, which is your pi r squared, which that's the area of a circle, right? Times the height of your cylinder. So this is the formula of a cylinder. So you have the area of your base times your height. But a cone is taking 1/3 of it. Okay, good morning, Miss Lewis. All right, so you're taking 1/3 of it. So if you can remember the volume of a cylinder, which is your area of the base times height, okay, so we have our area of our base of a circle times the height, divided by 3. Boom, you got the cone. All right, so if you can remember one formula and just make that small little tweak, now you have a visual. Okay, engrave it in your mind. All right, so if I take away this and I take away this, you got that other third that remains. So now we can get everything else. They're giving us our radius to help us with the area of the circle. So let's do that part first. So for the area of the circle part, we have pi r squared. Our radius is going to be 6. All right. So what is actually being squared is just the 6. So 6, not 6 times 2. Okay. 6 squared. 6 times 6. So that gives us 36. But they're telling us, and plus the answer choices are also telling us, that they're not just keeping it in terms of pi. They're not just going to bring the pi down. You're like, okay, 36 pi. Woohoo! Let's move on. We're going to multiply this by 3.14. Okay? So, we're going to have to do full blunt-on multiplication. So if we have our 36, or 3.14, times our 36, 6 and 4, that's 4, carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2, that's 8. 6 and 3 is 18. Now 3's. 3 and 4, that's 12. Bring it over to the 1 spot, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And 3 times 3 is 9. Just like multiplication, we're adding things on. We're making it's fast addition. We are going to add these numbers together. So bring down your 4. 8 and 2, 10. Carry the 1. 8 and 4, 12. That makes it 13. Carry the 1. 9 and 1 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. Okay, so we're doing a little quick refresher on multiplying, and we need 2 decimal places. This has 2 decimal places, this has no decimal places. That means our answer has to be 2 decimal places. Starting at the end, we got 1, 2. So that means our decimal place is between the 3 and the 0. Thank you, Miss Brenda. I appreciate you. Good morning, my faith. All right. So that's what we got from the circle. So the area of your circle, the area of this circle right here is going to be 113 and 4/100. But now we need to multiply that to our height. And our height is 10. So here we go with the formula. We took care of this part. So now we need to multiply this by our height of 10. What do we know about things being multiplied by 10? You got your movement. Okay? We are basically adding a 0. Okay? We're moving 10. That's 2 places. Can't we just move it over a decimal place instead of doing full-blown multiplication? She's like, what do you mean? So a decimal place like 10 is going to be 1/10. So couldn't we move this 4? If I multiply by 10 and I still have 2 decimal places, wouldn't this 4 move over? Wouldn't it be 0.4? Yes, there is more. We're not done. Yes, there we go, Brenda. Okay, so if we're moving it to 10, that means this decimal point that was right here, it's actually going to move 1 decimal place over. So now we actually have 1,130 and 4 tenths. Okay, all of this is taken care of the top part. That's taken care of if it was a cylinder. But we're doing a cone. Okay? We're doing a cone. So that means we need to do what? Divide this by 3. That's the part that a lot of people are missing. We're not looking at the volume of a cylinder, we're looking at the volume of a cone. So we have to divide this by 3. There you go. Hey, DJ Big Daddy. Here we go with the Big Daddies again. Alright, so let's take a look. Notice they had A, but that is for a cylinder. We need to divide it by 3. So how many 3's can go into 11? Well, 3 of them. Since I know right from the start, if I have 11 divided by 3, that closest I can get is 3 without going over. My answer has to be B. It has to be B. And guess what? It is B. Because then you have your 9, 11 minus 9, that gives me 2. Now I got 23. How many 3's can go into 23? 7. That gives me 21. 23 minus 21 gives me a 2. Bring down the 0. Now I got a 20. How many 3's can go into 20 without going over? That would be 6. So 20 and 18, that'll give me 2 left over with my decimal. Now the 2 turns into 24. So how many 3's can go into 24? Exactly 8. Okay. This is why for all my GED, all my high school equivalencies, this is why volume is a 4-point question. Okay. Liverpool, no, we do not increase the speed here. This is a platform for people that have basically a fear of math, and I break down stuff very slowly. Okay? So if it's too fast, if it's too slow for you, thank you so much for coming. But this is the pace that we go. Okay? Thank you. All right? So that's why the volume of a cone is a 4-point question. Look at the detail that you have to do. Look at the time that you have to spend. If you skip any of the 4-point questions, you're not going to pass the GED. That's how it is arranged. Okay? They will give you points for anything with basic arithmetic. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay? Fractions, decimals, looking at percentages, distance, rate, and time formulas. Okay? Age problems. They will give you like between 1 to 2 points for those. But finding slope, the equation of the line, system of equations, volume, surface area, Okay, factoring. Those are 4-point questions, and those are the questions that you're skipping. And guess what? That's why you're 12 points away, or 10 points away, or 1 point away. Do not skip. You need at least 3 of those 4-point questions in order to pass it. Okay? Okay, not a problem. All right. Never used this in real life. Actually, someone did. That's how come you got the designs. If you look at how your candle holders are made, if you look at how some of our processed foods, someone is using this formula. You may not be using it because someone else used it for you. So that's why. So if you're thinking about starting your own candle line, if you're starting to think about how your what is it that I'm talking about? Makeup, the ring lights, the diameters, the ring lights, the cameras. God, what else is out there? There's so much. Shoes, how shoes are designed. Now that they're noticing that, hey, people are getting wider feet. I don't know what's happening because a lot of people started to work out and now they're noticing that, hey, these shoes are always tight right around the toes. Now we're using wide toes and blah, blah, blah. It's because people are taking these formulas. Think about your cereal boxes. Think about your pizza boxes. How things are traveling from point A to point B. Why do they put air into the chip bags? Why is the chip bags a rectangular shape? But then when it opens, it can open almost like a cylinder if it wanted to. So there's a lot of things. Okay? All right. So here we go for this one. Excuse me. So this time, the area of a circle is 100 pi. Notice your answers. All of your answers are in terms of pi. Okay? If the radius is doubled, what is the new area? So we're going to have to break down in order to build up. That's the easiest way that I can say. So I'm seeing Big Al with A's, I'm seeing Marcos with C, I'm seeing another person with B, okay, seeing Zach with B, okay, J-Dub, I'm seeing you with 40 pi, okay, which is B, thank you. All right, okay. So you're taking your paro test next week, okay, and you're nervous, okay. So how are you studying? Okay, if it's just watching videos and you're not applying, it's going to be tough. But we're going to see if we can make it through. All right, so Mel, thank you for your honesty, Mel. No clue. Appreciate you. All right, so you're saying what's the answer? Well, we need to break it down. So the area of a circle, they're starting off with that. What is the area of a circle? So we have, and we just talked about it, pi r squared. So they're saying that the area of the circle is 100 pi. Reason why I'm doing this is if I know that the area of the circle is 100 pi and the radius is r squared, that means I'm looking at my 100 is equal to r squared. So I need to think of what number multiplied to itself 2 times will give me 100. Okay. All right. Well, congrats. All right, Margaret, welcome in. Thank you, J-Dub. It's going to be 10 because 10 times 10 gives me that 100. So our radius is going to be 10. So that's the original radius. So now they gave us a little bit expanded information. If the radius is doubled, so we know what the radius is. The radius is 10. If the radius is doubled, what does that mean? I have to break it down this way because a lot of people get mixed up. So if that radius is doubled, we're not doubling the area, we're doubling the radius. Okay, so we're going to multiply. Multiply it by what? Okay, multiply the 10 by what if it's being doubled? Because you see how there is a lot of math and reading components in these exams. There you go. Now doubling by 3, multiply by 2. There you go. 2. Good. So if we take this 10 and we multiply by 2, think of it. Double trouble. That means there's those crazy little twins, right? So if we multiply it by 2, that means our new radius is going to be 20. Okay, our new radius is going to be 20. So now we need to figure out what the new area is. So if we take this lovely information that we just got, and we're going to find the area of pi r squared with the new radius. We're going to keep it in terms of pi. The reason why, look at your answers. All your answers are in terms of pi. Alright, so we have our pi, our radius squared. So that means we just need to square our 20. So 20 squared, that's 20 times 20. 20 times 20, or 2 times 2 with 2 zeros. That will give us our 400. So to clean this up, instead of saying pi times 400, it's going to be 400 pi. And your answer will be B. Okay. All right. So if you're thinking about getting your GED, your ASVAT, okay, well, especially the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, you can't use a calculator. GED, they will give you a calculator for some points, okay? But we have to see, sure. We have to see if we can get the whole thing in here. There we go. All right. So now, you see some of these questions. Okay, we still have one more to go. You see some of these questions. How are you feeling? Okay, how are you feeling? Why are you doing so complex? Why am I doing so complex? I'm taking it step by step. Because some people can take it to the next level, which is perfectly fine. But this is how I take things step by step. Alright? Because remember, you don't know who's my audience. You don't know who's been here. You don't know who's going to be doing all of this. No idea. You don't know the reason why they had to leave school. You don't know the reason why they have struggles. Okay? So this is just how I do my platform. Alright? Okay. Okay. What were we going to say? Not Satan. Not today, Satan. Love the names. What are you guys are up to? Like, really? Alright. So, how are you feeling? Okay, I really want to know how you feel. Like, do you feel okay? I see some people that are like, yeah, I need it this pace. Or I'm starting to see how they're breaking down the questions, or like a thumbs up, something. Okay, how are you feeling? All right, the pace is perfect. Okay, what's wrong, Big Al? Okay, stressed? Okay. I know, because you don't like geometry questions, because, you know, we got to go through it. It's part of the test. It's part of the test. Good morning. Good morning, Brenda. Okay. Pace as well. Okay. Thank you, Keisha. How are you? All right, brown eyes. Good morning. All right, so we're going into our last one. And yes, a lot of these questions, if you were to take the GED or the ASVAT, well, especially GED or any high school equivalency test, these are 4-point questions. Okay, ASVAT, these are those questions that you will see in the arithmetic reasoning section. Okay, TEAS test, you will see them mixed in with your doses calculations. So if you are a TEAS test person and you need help with doses calculations, I'm going to go to my girl from a blessed RN. Make sure you follow her. Okay. Got a little crazy with the E's. So a blessed RN. All right. The CSCs, yes. Especially for the beginning of it, yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Hey, brethren. I have way too many siblings or family members in Jamaica. Never know, might be related. You never knew. If you got Campbell or Codner in your blood, yep. What's up, cousin? All right. So now, for our last one, here we go. So rectangular prism. Okay, remember what I said. If you want something to study, study for rectangular prism, study for cylinder. Remember those two, because if you want to find a cylinder, you just divide your, if you want to find a cone, divide your cylinder by 3. Okay. Same thing happens with square pyramids. Okay, for square pyramids, if you know what a cube is. No, not square pyramids. But they don't do too many pyramids. So you divide by 3. Alright, so rectangular prism. They're giving you the volume. Okay, so now what they want is, what is the surface area? Okay. So, surface area is not dealing with the volume itself. It's dealing with the covering. So think of it this way. So say I have this box, right? Whoa, that's huge. Okay, so let's go smaller. Say I have this box, all right? And I need to wrap it as like a gift. Like, you know how we reuse boxes, right? And you're like, oh, I really want to give it like a cute little gift. And volume deals with how much this box can hold. How much stuff can I put inside of it? Okay, that's volume. Surface area is like how much wrapping paper I'm going to need to cover this. Okay, so that's the difference. Now, because you're taking the areas of each of the sides, top, bottom, left, right, okay, and the back and the front. I don't know how TikTok likes that, but here we are. So if I draw a rectangle, and for me to make it 3D, I will draw another rectangle. So to connect it, I'm connecting the vertices. You just learned how to draw a 3D box. There you go. So they're telling me that the volume is 120. They're saying that the length is 5, the width is 4, but they're not giving me the height. Because if I looked at volume, let me roll this down, the volume of a rectangular prism is basically your length times your width times your height. So we need to figure out the height so we can figure out the surface area. So if I know it's length times width times height, I know I got my length, which is 5. I got my width, which is 4. 5 times 4 gives me what? Not to insult your intelligence, we just want to make sure you're with me. 5 times 4 gives me what? Okay, we got 20s, Coley, good, brown eyes, good, Mel, good. Okay, my favorite, there we go. Good, Big Al, good, Fast Horse, good. Alright, Anna, good, Austin, good. Now, if I have 120 equals 20 times h, because h is my height, that means I have to divide 120 by 20. So what's 120 divided by 20? Isaac, I see you. I also see you. Riz, I see you. Tony the Tiger, I see you. Mel, I see you. Coley, see you. Austin, see you. Good. Brown Eyes, see you. Good. Alright. The reason why they're getting one on the 6, if I look at it, they both end in 0. So, get rid of the zeros. Stop making it such a huge number. Now you made it smaller. Now you got 12 divided by 2. And what's 12 divided by 2? That will give us 6. So the 6 is our height. So that means this is 6, okay, this is 4, and this is 5. So everything that we know about rectangles, that means if this is 5, that means up here is 5, that means back here is 5, and that means this is 5. Okay, if this is my height with the 6, that means this is my height with the 6. This is my height with the 6. This is my height with the 6. And if this is my width of the 4, that means this is 4, that means this is 4, and this is 4. So instead of you trying to piece them and figure out, and then all of a sudden you got so many numbers surrounding your thing, you're like, I don't know where to go. We go with the surface area. So surface area for a rectangular prism is basically 2 times your length times width plus your length times height plus your width times height. That's what your surface area is going to be. So we know the length is 5, the width is 4, and the height is 6. So if I go length times width, which we already know is 20, we did that part already. Your length times height, length is 5, height is 6. 5 times 6 will give me, yep, you're going to plug in. 5 times 6, that's 30. Now we need our width times the height. Well, our width is 4, our height is 6. 4 times 6, that's 24. And what we're going to do, add those up and then multiply by 2. Okay. So now you have 20 plus 30, that gives you 50. Then you have your 50 plus 24, that gives you 74. And we just need to multiply that 74 times 2. Okay, there we go. So 2 times 4, there we go with the 8. Then 7 times 2, that gives us our 14. So the surface area, it's going to be whatever units. It's going to be 148 units. Answer will be A. Okay. Back this up. Alright. So, little bit of knowledge. That's why these are all 4-point questions. Okay? If we can get 3 out of like maybe 2 of these, knowing that understanding, we can't skip them, guys, if you're trying to get your GED. I know it's challenging, but see, here's my thing. That's the reason why I designed my algebra at your pace. That's why occasionally you'll see a video that I'm doing instructional stuff, but then I think I'm going to try to go live maybe a little bit later today and really show you all of my stuff, all of my books, all of the resources that I have. And I'm still developing resources every blessed day. All right? Because these are things that you can use to build up your understanding, so then when you try to apply it to a test, you won't feel so nervous. That's the reason you're trying to use old knowledge from when you were in high school, which was many moons ago, and now you're trying to apply it to a current test. That's what's going on. I can show you tricks and tips, and that's what I used to do. I used to come on here and just do a whole bunch of problems, and everybody feels good, but then when you try to do the work yourself, you're lost, because you're watching those videos and you're watching the lives as a spectator. And because if you don't do any practice after you watch these things, then it's hard for you to apply it to a test, to a practice test. And you're like, I watch Audrey's lives all the time. Yeah, but I don't show you everything, because I only like to be on here for roughly an hour, especially today, because I got tutoring. Hello, lucky wife. Good morning. I have to look to see what the CXC, because I don't want to say yes. But let me take a look, Keisha. If anything, definitely message me to remind me. So I got a morning. Okay. So this is why I do these things. Now, I love the support. Okay. Follow me here. I appreciate the follows, because you want to know when's the next time I come on, which will probably be 7:45 tomorrow. But if you want to get started on your journey, I do have a link in my profile. I want you to go and click on that link. I have a free math check. Okay, I have a free math check. So to see where you are, see what information you remember. Okay, even if you used it before and you're like, oh man, Audrey, that was so hard. Well, I redefined it about, I think it was this week or last week. I don't know. The weeks are kind of merging together lately. So if anything, go and take a look to see what you can do. And as a free, okay, you got someone that can help you. So as you do the math, take pictures of it, send it to me via TikTok, DM me what you got, so I can take a look and say, all right, you're on the right path. I don't see any influencers or other teachers doing that. So take that to your advantage. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like when I can have a plate full of delicious brownies, because, brownies are awesome. And you're like, yeah, I love brownies. And you saw me make the brownie. You know what my kitchen looks like, because you know how we are. You know how clean my kitchen is. You see me actually make the brownie. We got it all nice and cooled. I cut it up for you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's have a brownie. You're like, yay. And then you're like, no, I don't think I want to have a brownie. But you want the brownie. And you know how good it's going to be, because you saw it being made right before your eyes. But yet, you don't take the brownie. What's wrong? What's holding you back? Okay? No, I haven't. Okay? So, if you go to the link in my bio, okay, There's only one link. So if you go to my bio, just click on that link. It says Stand Store. All right. It is a free one. It should be the first one that you see after you scroll down with little words of encouragement. And it's like a math check-in. Take the math checkup, do the work on a separate sheet of paper, take a picture of it, and then DM me your work. Okay? Even if we're not friends yet, I always check the requests. Okay? And DM me your work. Some milk, right, John? You know? So it's like, I don't know. And if you're worried, like, oh my God, Audrey, you're going to have like hundreds of people doing it. All right, fine. If that's what I have to do, so you can get yourself in the situation that's better than what you're doing right now, then so be it. Okay? I don't see too many people doing that. So if I get 1,000 returns, all right, I'm going to have a busy night. Or I'm going to have to break it up, and hopefully I'll be done everything on Saturday. All right? You're welcome. You're so welcome. Because this is the only way that you're going to get some solace. By you watching, and I see, well, I don't see all your names, but I see the people that do. Reeves, thank you so much for the heart. Nikki, thank you so much for the rose. Appreciate it. Margaret, thank you so much. Hopefully this is helpful. And especially for those that are doing homeschooling. Okay? So if you're doing homeschooling, and I know you want to teach your child. Like if you're old school homeschooling, you definitely want to teach your child. You just need as many resources as you can possible. Trust me. Okay? Algebra at your pace will help you. Okay? Not only take over, but it will help you. Because what I do is I have a QR code. Then when you scan this QR code, you will get a link to the playlist of all the instruction. So this is my second volume. So for my second volume, we start with coordinate planes. Okay, for volume 1, we start with numbers, the different types of numbers. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, and decimals. Okay, for volume 2, we're starting a little bit with functions. And after you get the instruction, then you get the practice. Okay? For this afternoon, I'm not sure. I'm going to try for like around 4, possibly maybe a little bit later. Because there's this one person, I'm not sure if she's coming in, yes or no. Okay? But I'll be here in the mornings, yes. But I know I might come back on and really just walk you through my whole entire system. Like, look at all my books. Like, that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be doing any math if I do come back. I'm really just going to show you my books. I'm going to show you all my resources, how you can use them. Because I hate to say it, and I know you're going to be like, shut your mouth. School's is right around the corner. I mean, next week is the middle of July. Like, where did the time go? In June, but you're still here. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay. So that's why I do this. So if anything, you could just click on the link, do the work on a separate sheet of paper, and then text me, message me pictures of what you got. Okay? Please do that. I want to help. I really do. Let me talk to you like a human being here. There you go. Even though I look kind of crazy. But that's all right. I know. My lighting is going to be all kinds of crazy off. It looks like it wants to rain. My ring light decides to die. Thanks, ring light. Okay. We've had a good run. There you go. But I really do want to help you. I want to break concepts down. Not just, here's a concept. Remember it. All right. Thanks. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the gifts. I appreciate the gifts. I appreciate the likes because the likes helps with the algorithm. People coming in helps with the algorithm. But I want to reach as many people as I can. And I feel that now that I give a couple of problems, break down a couple of problems and tell you where to go, now I really want to have you guys do it now. Do it now since it's fresh in your mind. Because now you got all this information, what are you going to do with it? You saw me do some problems. Okay, got the evidence right here. Woohoo. Okay. I know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to be saving it. I'm going to put my information in, collecting my data. But what are you going to do with it? You're just going to go back to a cat video, dog video. Maybe someone got kicked in the crotch. You know, someone fell. Oh, but how's that going to help you with the test? What are you going to do different? Yeah. What are you going to do different? Because as soon as you're done with TikTok, you put the phone down, your reality is still there. I always like to put it like when people go to bars, like adults go to bars. Why do people go to bars? They go to bars to escape reality, to have fun, you know, do a couple little tipsies, right? Okay, so you need more. This is why you need to buy the book. Then you can get me. Okay, it's called Algebra at Your Pace. Okay, the reason why it's at your pace, you can turn it on whenever you want. You don't have to have me as your personal tutor. I'm in here. There's videos. You scan, and then all of a sudden you get the whole playlist. And then you sit, you watch, you take notes, then you apply. And at the end of every volume, you get an assessment. Assessment on the stuff here to make sure that you understand. And if you get certain bundles, you can also have access to me to ask further questions. Okay, so it's in the link in my bio. So if you go straight to my profile, like click on my profile pic a couple times, you should be able to get like a profile like this. I know it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to show it down here. This. So once you go to my profile, it's going to be the only link that I have, which is right here, right underneath the finger. Okay, Stand Store. Don't be intimidated by it. Okay, when you click on it, it takes you right to my Stand Store. Alright, give it a little words of inspiration, how to get started. Then you have that free math checkup. Okay, it was the same as yesterday, I just changed the name. Right, so when you click on here, it gives you a little indication of what it is. Alright, so I'm not here to judge, I just want to get some information. So you have your name, your email, and then once you do all that, it'll immediately go to your email. Alright, and then you'll be able to open it up, then you do the problems. After you do the problems, you're going to take pictures. Okay? And after you take pictures, that means I should look in here, and I should have more than one person giving me a request. Okay? I'm kind of looking forward to maybe 10 people in here that's already did some of the problems. They're taking pictures of it, and I should be able to see who's in my DMs. Okay? That's what I'm doing. Okay. I know, I'm excited. Yes, and it's also through the A. I know I can't say the word because it shuts everything down. Alright, so now the books, more expensive, but hey, the reason why, especially volume 2, I'll use, it's thicker than a Snicker, and I use color. Not just on the inspirational stuff, but for your answer key, and then also at the very back, I have review information. Just because I used one page, I had to put it all in color. And then of course I said, well, if I'm going to use one page, I might as well do some other stuff. And I give you some more practice problems in terms of flashcards. So you got flashcards, I like to use as matching. And if you're not sure, so then that's when you get your answer key on the very back. Okay. Alright. So you can either get it electronically, especially the resources. I think that would be best to get those electronically. I do have it in book form on the A, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper. I don't know, it's an economy. Alright. Thank you. But sometimes even when we put it in there, I get dinged. Okay, probability and statistics are in there as well. Geometry is in there as well. So when it comes to With statistics, it'll be your mean, median, mode, your range, your how to read a line graph, how to read a circle graph, all that's in there. Okay? Yep. So if anything, when you take a look through the stand store, there's like individual books that you have there, okay, that you can look at. And they also give you descriptions. Read the descriptions, guys. Okay? Please don't just buy it and you're like, oh yeah, I want to support Audrey. Okay, that's great. But if you have any questions before you purchase, please send me a message. Send me a message before you purchase. Okay? Okay, no. That's okay, Big Al. So far, nothing has happened, so we're doing. Okay? Online, it's all listed online. Okay? If you get the physical books, obviously it's going to be like twice as much. But depending on which individual book you want, okay? If it's Algebra at Your Pace, if you're doing it as an ebook, it's like $12.99. Whereas the physical book is $24.99. Why? Because we're using ink, colored ink, and the number of pages. Anything more than 78, it gets crazy. Okay, no, that's fine. We're fine. Okay, any questions? I appreciate you guys coming here. I appreciate your support. I love it. Thank you so much. I just want to help. I don't want you to be here like, hey, we're going to do some math today. Okay, that's great. I know TikTok is supposed to be an entertainment thing. But then right now they're starting to realize that there is a lot of educators on here that really wants to hit on the basic concepts because that's what we're missing. We're missing those foundational pieces. Okay? I don't know why I'm crying. It's crazy. Premenopausal. It's great. Yay. Yay, uterus. Okay, you're so welcome. All right, everyone. If anything, click the link. If you're like, I don't think I want to get the link. I don't want to click it. I'm a little scared. Message me. Just message me. How are you going to get your questions answered if you don't message me? So if you want to message me, tell me which test are you taking, and then we can take it from there. Okay? If it's not me, I will direct you into the right person that I think will be a best fit for you. Okay? How many people are doing that? No one. Okay? God's going to bless me. Don't worry. I'm not going to be homeless yet. But, yet is the operative word. Okay? So, if anything, I will talk with you guys tomorrow, or I'm going to see if I can come on later on this afternoon to display all of my books. All of it. Just because back to school, it's right around the corner. Yes, 7:45 tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. I know it's going to be mad early. All right. Okay. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow or later on today. I'm trying to shoot for, because I know there's different time zones, I'm going to try to shoot for either 5, maybe 6. 5 or 6. I'll put something out. I'll put something out as a reminder. Okay? All right, everyone. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much for your time and your support. And keep being awesome. All right? Give yourself love, people.